Fitzgerald here again today at Deluxe Lifestyle Strategies. Thank you for joining me on my journey once again, my challenge to spread some educational information about how to make, save, and protect our money so that we can actually change our lives into a deluxe lifestyle of our dreams, right? The last episode, I was talking about how senior citizens are being burdened with college debt. How does that affect our retirement if we're going to have, raised cost of living because of college debts, whether it's your college debt or your children or grandchildren, right? So if you missed that episode, just check on back on Deluxe Lifestyle Strategies on YouTube and go check that out. And today we're going to talk about business, more specifically recruiting, right? A lot of people don't like the word recruiting, but whether you're looking for W-2, 1099, business partner, whatever you're looking for, call it staffing, hiring, it's all about recruiting, right? And that's one of the things that I think we need to get over. We have a lot of people that are averted to recruiting, especially in my industry, unfortunately, when in actuality, we're all looking for people. We have the lowest unemployment rate right now, which is awesome. Although there's tons of business owners looking to fill positions. So what do? How do we find them? I know I do a lot of interviews currently trying to increase the size of my business at the moment. And we have a lot of people who come in and they go through the process and they fill out the application and they're like, yeah, we're going to get started. And then they don't even show up for day 2. Like, hello, I wouldn't dream of doing that, but apparently there are people out there that are what we're calling like resume hopping, I guess. They're just kind of going out there, kind of like fluffing their ego, saying, oh yeah, I can get this job, and then they don't take it up. Or they take that offer back to their existing employer and go, hey, I got this other offer over here, I think I'm thinking about taking it. And the business owner is like, no, I don't want to lose this person because it's time consuming and expensive to train new staff, right? So they actually offer him a raise or something, anything, any kind of perks to get him to stick around. And so us as the owner who just interviewed this new person just wasted that time, unfortunately. That's a big issue right now in my world, as well as other business owners that I work with, talking to them about how to find good staff. I live in the state of Florida, and down here in the state of Florida, I don't know if it's a mindset thing or what, although people are in the mindset of relax and go to the beach, right? So when you get someone new coming into your business, they're not always as amped up and excited as you are, the business owner, the visionary, the one who created this business, right? And it's hard to get people who are doing having that same feeling. Trying to find you got to find people who are entrepreneurial spirited, although are wanting a solid income, I guess, or to work for someone else. Or maybe they think they're entrepreneurial, but they don't have a vision of something. They're like, man, I want to do something. I want to be successful, but I don't have anything on my plate at the moment. I don't know. I've never had that happen. I've always got new business ideas going on in my head. And I'm always trying to find ways to find more staff so that I can staff the one that's already running so that I can go start the next one, right? So there's my industry is a case in point, to be specific, right? The largest wealth transfer in American history is happening right now. The baby boomers are moving into retirement, and it's happening at tremendous speeds. And unfortunately, the people who do what I do, who help people move and transition this money, this great amount of wealth that's moving right now, the people who do that, who are licensed financial professionals, the number of us are actually dwindling. It's interesting. We have an industry here that is booming and needs more and more. In fact, the statistic was, I think it was 3 years ago, a finance magazine said we need an estimated 60,000 new agents every year just to keep up with the demand of the baby boomers, right? And that doesn't even include all the people in my generation and millennials who need help because we're all kind of upside down in our money because we don't really talk about it enough, right? So always out there looking for more people. I am constantly interviewing. One of the things that I'm finding recently is having certainty for the person who's coming in to interview. If you are even the slightest bit uncertain about how they fit into your business, how they can be successful, it's going to breed uncertainty in them, and odds are they're not going to feel comfortable at coming back in. They're going to think, oh, well, I don't know if I really fit in there. That's literally what they're thinking. So we have the task of trying to figure out in a very short amount of time, because I don't have a lot of time, right? I'm interviewing like 4 or 5 people a day, plus working with my clients, plus doing these videos and podcasts and online marketing and offline marketing, all these other things, right? So how do we find enough time to sit down with an individual and really delve into who they are? Because that's really what it's all about. You have to find out who they are, what inspires them, what motivates them, and what their number one skill is right away. Like in 10 minutes, you have to figure this stuff out, right? Ideally, because who wants to take 3 or 4 hours for an interview? Although some of the best interviews that I've ever had were 3 or 4 hours long, where we were just like totally, the rapport was like there, and I learned so much about the person that it literally allowed me to, while we're having the interview, be able to see in my mind where they fit into my company and then start talking to them about it. That is one thing that I find is a really good way of getting people, as we call it, to stick with you if you decide to bring them into your company. Having another way, like leadership skills, and this ties into what I was talking about, but if you are not a strong leader of people, getting them to understand that you're going to be able to show them the way and be able to vocalize those types of things. Again, it's the uncertainty thing. If you can't show them how they fit in, if you can't show them that you're going to guide them, if you can't show them that, you're going to help them be successful in the position that you're offering, a lot of times you're going to lose that person through the interview process. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about people who are actual paid recruiters. Those are expensive, right? I don't know if you've ever looked into full-time recruiters, whether you hire an outsourced one to say, hey, I'm going to hire you temporarily just to get me 5 new people, and these are the positions that I'm trying to fill. Just so you know, they typically are making, in that kind of situation, they're making 10 to 20% of the salary of the person that you're hiring. So if you're hiring somebody to make $100,000 a year, that's the salary for who you're hiring, you're going to have to pay the recruiter $20,000. And that's on the spot. It's not like overtime or something like that. So those are types of things that you have to be aware of. Those are for more like big corporations and such. Although I have looked into that in my industry, it seems a little, it's different because we're very results driven in my business. So if I bring somebody in and they don't work out, and I still paid that recruiter, it's a little cost inhibitive for that. But you can't hire full-time recruiters like that as well. If you put them on a salary, it makes it much more affordable, but that kind of depends on what your staffing needs are. Do you have a high turnover of people that you're having to constantly replace? Down here in Florida, that seems to be an issue. A lot of people will come and go depending on what's going on in their personal lives. Oftentimes has nothing to do with the job. When I lived in Key West, literally every business cycled through the staffing that lived down there. It was interesting. And it was more so because people are in a party mood down there. That was a big part of it. That they would go and get a job and they'd work there for a couple weeks and then they'd go party somewhere like totally too far, gone off the edge. And it wasn't that they didn't want to show up to work, it was that they couldn't, I think. They didn't show up for a couple days. And then they feel bad because they didn't show up, and so they just never show up. They don't call, they don't nothing at all. And so they have to go out and get another job. Well, all the staff that lives down there all the time, they're just cycling through. They've all worked everywhere down there. It was a very interesting dynamic to try to find staffing in Key West that would actually stick and stay with their job. Not quite as bad here on the mainland in Florida, but we do still have some issues with things like that because everyone is very transient. And a lot of people will move down to Florida thinking, oh my gosh, I want to live in Florida and paradise. It's so awesome. And then they get down here and they realize that life is pretty different down here. Like I said, we are a very service-based state as a whole. There's not a whole lot of corporations anywhere in the state of Florida. There's very few big corporate jobs, making tons of money. So people will move down here from up north, or God forbid if they move from California. Oh my goodness. The cost of living and the incomes are so drastically different that they move here and realize they're like, I can't live on, what they pay down there. And down here, I've heard employers say this, it's interesting. They're like, well, you sacrifice a little bit of money because you're living in paradise now, right? Which I'm like, it doesn't matter. We still should have the same kind of income, correct? So that's a big hurdle to get over to try to get all of the different things going. I'm back online personally now, trying to utilize the internet to search the web, basically spread my web out onto the internet to find qualified candidates. It is difficult to understand where to find them. Here locally, our newspaper is exorbitantly expensive, and there's very few want ads in there anymore because of that. You go on Craigslist nowadays, and boy, that is a time waster in my opinion. It is hard to find people on Craigslist anymore nowadays that are truly serious. I think a lot of that has to do with just the way they changed Craigslist years ago, and you have to pay for the ads now and such, which sometimes it works out. I have hired a couple of people from Craigslist, but I do spend a lot of time trying to filter through the people and sending messages and calling people who have submitted their information and then getting no responses. Like I said, again, it's people who are just resume hopping or something. So again, we're back to how do we actually find the people that are going to fill those positions, and not just to fill the position today, right? My personal experience is I'm really looking for the dedicated souls who want to make a difference in the world, who they see the industry that I am in as the next thing to really make a difference in people's lives, because money is really what it's all about. I know money isn't everything, right? We can live without money, but it's kind of like oxygen. The less you have, kind of not as good, right? So the more you have, the more you can do, the more you can help other people, the more you have. So it really is a great industry to be in, I feel. But finding those people to stick with it and really get passionate the way I am and go out there and help change people's lives. And maybe you're not one of those people. Maybe you want, your business is, a restaurant. Now, there's an industry that's never going to die, right? Everyone always needs food. But business owners who own restaurants always need staff. What is up with that? So finding those right staff who are going to stick with you, making sure that your business is solid enough. I know in the restaurant industry here, our restaurants pop up and down every season. Literally, we have new restaurants that open in September, October, and they're shutting down in May and June because they can't make it through the summertime. So having strong business skills to make sure that you've planned it out properly is one way, because there's that confidence factor again, that certainty. If you can tell your waitstaff at a restaurant that we have the collateral to make sure that we stay open for 2 years, even if the economy's down and everything, that gives certainty to that staff that they're going to be able to stick around. And taking care of your staff is a big part of it. If you aren't loyal to your staff, how can you expect your staff to be loyal to you? And I know this is a big vicious cycle that started quite a few years ago, where corporations stopped being as loyal to their employees, and then employees stopped being loyal to corporations, and now it's just back and forth and back and forth. The average individual changes jobs 8 times throughout his life now. That's a lot of job changing, starting over from scratch for the individual who's starting a new job. But the employer is in the same situation. They're having to train new people. The average cost of training an employee at a corporate job is $6,000. That's a lot of money just to train them. So every time you have to hire someone new, have to replace someone, you're losing money. So maybe think about that side of it when you're thinking about what benefits do I want to offer my staff to make sure that they know that I'm certain that where they fit in, that I'm a leader and I can guide them to success, and that I'm going to give them the right benefits, whatever they need, so that they stick around, so that I don't have to go out and find a new person and replace that. So I'd love to hear what you guys think now, right? Comment below. Let me know if you have a surefire way of knowing how to find someone, get them intrigued about your business, get started with your business, stick with you for life. Do you have something like that? Go ahead and comment below, right? Because everyone needs help in business, because we want everyone to be successful. And if everyone is successful in business, the economy is growing. And that's what this is all about here, right? Making, saving, and protecting our money and investments. So thanks for watching today. Definitely make sure you don't miss the next episode. So hit the subscribe button below before you leave. Next episode, I'm going to be talking about retirement planning strategies. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, pretty much anywhere by searching my name, Jen Fitzgerald. And I hope I have inspired you with ideas and new thoughts today. Now it's your turn. Go out and inspire someone today. See you next time.